Welcome back, episode 43. Today is the hunt with Benny and Jared. No, get your banana back up.
You've got a banana for today's episode.
That's it, mate.
Just
Banana
make-
mic. Let's go.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it. But today we're going to talk about a number of things. We're going to talk about SBD Cup. We're going to talk about submaximal blocks versus pushing blocks. But one thing, elephant in the room we're going to address is Jared's looking awfully more tanned, isn't he, Benny?
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you reckon, viewers? I'm talking cap, obviously, because he's still white as anything. But you've been working on your tan, Jared.
I've been putting in some work.
Putting in some work. eh?
Trying to not look the same colour as my shirt.
And that's why he wore it, just so we could see a difference. Because the first thing he said to me when I walked in today, you notice anything different?
Yeah.
I'm looking at him, I'm like, no, hair's still the same. Hasn't brushed his teeth yet. Sweating. No. And then he goes, mate, I'm tan. I'm like, there it is. I missed it.
Like, yeah.
The
nice.
complexity difference in the
There
white
you go,
shirt.
mate. That's it.
But no, you are looking more tan, mate. I just, I can't give you heaps of compliments every single day. So
Every single day.
so there's your first one.
Modus comes out with
Thanks,
three
mate.
violations instead.
So let's talk about SBD Cup first. So obviously I was down there on the weekend and I'm pretty sure I got all our predictions wrong. But it was a really good event. It was good to see so many lifters make attempts and push the records. I think pretty much like the majority of the female side of things pushed the records, which was really, really good to see those standards increase. And this is what happens when you have a new federation and they standardize the records. It's a bar that's going to be continuously raised over the next couple of years until it starts to get, quite difficult. But yeah, how did you guys see the competition? One of you's eating, one of you's drinking. We'll go Benny.
Yeah, sure, mate.
Thanks, mate.
All good.
How did you see the comp? Like, did you watch it?
Yeah,
or-
live stream.
Yeah, cool.
Live stream.
Did you enjoy the live stream?
Yeah, it was good actually. Like I was going to mention on like a bit of the production, like, it was some different stuff, some bird's eye view shots.
They flew over Chris and Jacob
Chris,
to
yeah.
fucking sort it out.
which is very cool. But yeah, no, so that was good. It was an enjoyable watch for sure. Yeah, it was a little like a little confusing, like keeping up with like the leaderboard, especially if you were running on a lag, not to like make it, not to like ruin the surprise for yourself on good lift or anything. But yeah, no, it was it looked very well run for one, which is good. Looked pretty high from the environment that you could get across the screen.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it was a good comp. It was exciting as well just to see like all of these high standard Australian lifters be at a meet where they just like load the bar and go for it instead of like, I'm going to be like conservative for X, Y, Z purpose. It was mainly like everyone's like clawing at the teeth to, put up whatever they can, which was really cool.
Yeah. Jared, how did you see it, mate?
Mate, it was pretty sick.
How did you see it from the solarium?
From what, sorry?
The solarium. You got a TV in your solarium?
Solarium.
He doesn't know what a solarium is.
I don't know what
The tanning bed, mate.
Fucking hell. Nah, I was watching a bit of it in the gym here, mate, with good old TD and Ainsley Jones. We're having a watch with the squats, then I went home after the squats, watched the rest from home, and yeah, it was great. It was pretty good to watch.
Yeah.
Anyone that surprised you?
Surprises.
I'll be first to say it. Brittany Romas. No, we did not speak about her.
Yeah,
no one
didn't
spoke
speak
about
about
her.
Yeah.
She crushed it. She looks great at 69 in the words of Tom Potts. Steele, sorry, Garrison. And she came out and just wiped the floor with the 69 kilo record. So I am really happy for Brittany. She's probably going to stay there because she looks really good at 69.
Yeah,
I was thinking that the 84 girls would get on the podium at least, considering it was stacked like Yanni, Beth, and Izzy. But to see 52 records being pushed, because that's been quite a dire weight class. We had Vicky from the 47s come up, share a bit of her talent, plus Liz came back down to 52, share a bit of her talent, just raise that standard of that class. So I doubt we'll see many records broken at nationals, given that Vicky's going back to 47. Liz is probably going to stay at 52 because she only totaled like 8 kilos less than her best 57 total from this year. And I think, throwing like Zin in the mix there as well. She's probably got some things to improve on with her squat, obviously with the depth issue. I know Kate Nax has got a bit of work to do with her hamstring tendinopathy. I think that's what she has.
I think so.
And then obviously you're throwing HPC's very own Ainsley Jones in the mix as well, who's been flying lately. So I think that 52 class will be good to see that, get pushed and hopefully send a 52 kilo athlete to Worlds because we didn't this year because they're not strong enough. Cool. All right.
Absolutely.
So we're going to move on. First segment, this is a new one. I haven't warned you boys about this, but a new segment to kick things off.
All right, here we go, mate.
Here we go.
Yep.
This segment's
What's
called
the stitch
Aiden's
up?
Annoyances.
Aiden's annoyances.
Aiden's Annoyances. And
Right.
I'm just going to highlight some things that have annoyed me during the week.
Yeah, so Aiden was just at home thinking, fuck, I really need to vent some shit. I'm going to blast some people on the internet and hopefully they get the message.
Hopefully I get the message. You both know what I'm about to say probably once I start talking. But the thing that has annoyed me this week, right, is the prices of media packages for filming at local competitions. So I am all for marketing, media, making production, making your competition look really cool.
Me too.
I'm all for it, right? But what I'm not all for is charging the price of an hourly rate for a neurosurgeon to record your lifts for you. Absolutely ridiculous. Like you could go to the dentist, you could get something fixed on your car, like doing all these qualified practices that require years of practice. They're charging the same rate to hold a camera and film 9 minutes of your lifting. I know it's more than 9 minutes. I know it's like 20 maybe. Yeah. But the difference is that if you're charging between $400 and $750, like these are the examples that I've seen, to record at a local level competition where it costs more than the peak for the coach to peak the friggin' athlete.
Yeah.
It costs more than the registration for the competition. And we know that you're quite quick at working and the delivery is quite good. You're not putting in an absolute level of detail that values towards $400, $750 a week. That price is absolutely absurd. So that's annoyed the fuck out of me this week.
Yeah.
And especially when we're trying to grow the sport, and if you're charging that much of a price at a local level event, it's not doing any favors for the sport to grow because no one's going to buy your package because it's too damn expensive, especially if they're a local level lifter.
Yeah.
They're going to look straight past it. They're probably going to just buy the raw clips and just post their raw clips or even just get mum to film it from the crowd or something.
Yeah. Shout out, Mumsy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So shout out to all the mum recorders out there.
Yeah, you're doing great, sweetie.
All right, like this. With a bit of commentary in the background.
Bit of commentary.
But yeah, I've decided to make a stand on this, from a business owner standpoint, because it's not like we can dramatically increase our prices as coaches. Like the difference is the value. If you're charging $400 to $750 for a reel and 20 photos or something or whatever the package may be, it needs to value that product.
Better be worth.
And
that
it
much.
doesn't matter how hard you're working for it. We all know how hard it is to be a coach. Like the amount of clients that we coach that need us every single day. It doesn't even go beyond the depth of how much effort we put in to only receive sometimes $52.50, like $52.50 a week or $30 or $40 a week. It does not compare. So it's about the end product. You need to be able to value the end product. So if you're charging these astronomical rates, you best believe you'd be getting the best reel ever. Like I paid, I think, £110 for my coaching package at White Lights Media in Lithuania. That's at Open Worlds, the best, largest, most intense.
Pinnacle of the sport.
Pinnacle of the fucking sport, right?
Yeah.
£110. And then
It's actually not too bad.
at Junior Worlds, I decided to pay for a reel and photo package. It was £250. That's at Worlds. So that's about $415 Australian. And, it's a long wait time, but I understand it's Worlds. But at the end of the day, that's the price at Worlds. And you're charging that much at a local Australian level where it's such a small percentage of the Australian, sporting population. And it's so niche, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think from a business owner standpoint, you will never see anyone charge that much for media services at Hunter Performance Center competitions ever.
Yeah.
And unless you want to pay me, the person giving you the comp, to record your content to sell, a certain percentage cut. Because that's just unfathomable, I reckon.
Yeah.
Committing crime.
I agree.
All right.
You're stealing pretty much at that point.
Dylan, yeah.
But what do you guys have any takes on that? This is the thing that's annoyed me this week. But what are your views, opinions? Do you disagree with me at all?
I completely agree. Honestly, when I see prices like that, I would rather just go the cheapest option, which is often just raw media clips, and then if I want to make a reel, just do it myself.
Yep. And if you do a good enough job, you can charge $500 to edit the raw clips, mate.
Yeah, that's it. I pay myself $500.
Do you have any views, mate? Or
No, mate, no. I just, you You said it all, mate.
No fucking
Said it all. It must have annoyed the fuck out of you.
It did. I'm fucking driving here along the Pacific Highway, just like
Hand
Revved
gripping the
up.
steering
yeah,
wheel.
yeah. But like even so, like I'm part of a number of group chats, like some with some media people here in Australia, some with like other meet directors and affiliates, and like at the end of the day, like without the clubs and the affiliates, like you don't have work. Without competitions, you don't have work.
Yeah.
So be very careful about how much you're charging because we see the value in what's being provided.
Yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately, like affiliates are a big part of hosting nationals and stuff like that. So if we see how much you're charging right now at locals, fucking imagine the price at nationals.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I agree with you, and I think it's just the contrast of like the value of you know, services or, you know, any type of income, I suppose you could call it, that other avenues of the sport are making in comparison. It's just like, damn, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure. All right. Well, I was going to go on about like what other you know roles or people or jobs charge that amount per hour. But I think we'll leave it there because I've kind of fucking ranted on a bit too long. It was pretty funny. I had like a list of like roles that were pretty like niche and unique.
Yeah, I thought the neurosurgeon thing was a bit fucking...
That's crazy. Yeah. $400 an hour for a
that is
neurosurgeon.
insane.
Yeah, and they're like probably done their fellowship and, you know, fucking have a 10-year degree or something.
And it's their full-time job.
And it's their full-time job. You know what I mean?
They're a neurosurgeon, mate.
Yeah.
say
Saving
less,
brains.
bro.
Literally. Okay, so we're going to talk on our actual topic today, which is submaximal blocks versus pushing blocks and like when to utilize them, how to use them. Do they have a role in the modern day contemporary powerlifting? Because where I come from, I've seen the ebbs and flows of how programming has like changed over the last like 10 or so years. The biggest difference is that it's no longer absolutely submaximal all the time because a lot of people would just prescribe percentage-based low-end work based off your 1 rep max and just work around rep ranges because during that percentage range is required and the amount of repetitions you need to progress. So, Jared, when it comes to submaximal versus pushing blocks, mate, how do you see the difference between the two? When do you see them applied in powerlifting training?
Well, you'll typically see the submaximal blocks like earlier in the phases of like a competition prep, right? So even like post-comp as well, you'll see pushing blocks closer towards the comp, like, you know, the peaking block itself.
Yep.
Right. And the submaximal load is just essentially setting you up to push later on, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it ties in closely to like creating a larger baseline and being able to essentially push higher than what you've had before.
Yeah.
I think the biggest consideration is like it's sometimes not as simple as saying, you know, we need the submaximal blocks to create a larger peak. It sometimes is needed because you become really desensitized to fitness levels and with how powerlifting works, with how your body adapts to a certain stimulus. If unfortunately you unable to handle a certain amount of workload during a given period, say getting ready for a competition, you need to improve your fitness levels in order to adapt correctly, recover appropriately, and make the most out of your top end performance when it comes to competition day.
Yeah.
So yeah, in saying that, Benny, how do you see submaximal blocks working for an athlete's macro cycle?
Yeah, well, like it's a pretty good segue from last week's episode when we were talking about, you know, comp calendars and things as such. So essentially just, you know, mapping out where you want to push and therefore where you have to pull back. And yeah, just kind of like noting that around not only the athlete's competitive calendar, but maybe some things that are going on in their life that would cause like a decrease in their ability to recover or tolerate as high intensity blocks. So for instance, I've actually got one of my clients, Michael, at the moment. He's practicing, well, he's studying medicine and he's currently running through his, what are they it's escaping me what they call kids in the medical world. Pediatric.
Pediatrics.
Pediatrics.
That's not the word I was thinking of anyway.
Yeah, pediatric, like medicine. And he said that it's a really difficult phase of like learning within the medical course because the way they present is so different. You essentially have to relearn everything. So the demand is higher. He's also on placement and things as such. So even though we ran into a competition and then had some off-season time and then ramped into some more high intensity
Pushing.
block, like pushing phases, with the intention to do like a deadlift only comp for a bit of fun, which since we can't because it's like against the APA's ruling, but that's fine. Besides the point. So basically we had a time where we pushed into comp and then had off season and then capitalized again. And we've kind of just had these like ebbs and flows of these trends where things are coming together, but then they fall apart really quickly. And I think it's essentially a reflection of his ability to tolerate intensity and more so intensity, while he's going through these like high stress periods that are affecting his sleep cycle, ability to eat, just normal stuff. So as a byproduct of that, unfortunately, when we've got to like the tail end of certain pushing blocks, think the wheels have just fallen off much earlier than usual. And then he's also experienced just like some niggles and pains and stuff like that as such. And it's kind of like you can delve deeper into all of that, but when you strip it back and look at the fact that there are like multiple issues all arising at once that kind of all signs point to one direction, it's just like, oh, okay, let's pull back and maybe do like more of a rolling block, more of a non-specific block where we just kind of train for volume and capacity and base building again. And yeah, just have fun with it too.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think like as long as you can read the play early from like a macro cycle lens, where if you know, or Michael tells you, I'm taking on pediatrics, training for the next like 6 months, like that's going to be quite intensive. Then we know from that standpoint that, there's probably not going to be a pushing cycle or phase. And you probably know that from now on. And,
well, on that note, just before you go on, that would be like the biggest downfall is that like, when we were communicating around what was happening, it was very fixated on like program, and not so much on the external. And you all like I mentioned to him, I was like, being stagnant is never something we want to look at as acceptable, or being in pain. But acknowledging like the reality of things that 100%. Could be imposing this is really important. And especially as an athlete, being open with your coach and having those conversations when life is getting kind of a bit wild. Just because like I know I have a lot of people on my roster specifically, and I know myself I'm like this. Like I don't really care what's going on outside of the gym. I always demand to be high performing. So just making sure that you're aware and you communicate with your coach, and that doesn't mean you have to at all turn your like dial of like focus into training back anymore. But your coach can just be aware. So if they see anything kind of pop up, they know, maybe we'll take this direction.
Yeah, I've got like another example similar or two examples. One, Dan Lee, he just recently cut down 59s, and I'm slowly watching his lifts just get harder and harder and harder. And it's so hard as a coach to not think, oh, it's the program. Like I'm getting the shits. Like, why is this athlete not getting stronger? But, and like Dan's mature enough to be like, look, I know that I'm fucking 10 kilos heavier than what I was this time last year. So it's good to have an athlete that can see like two ends of the story, because, the programming outcomes, like sometimes you just simply are doing your absolute best to control them. But through periods of pushing, like getting ready for the showdown, and you're seeing that top end not at the same level you want it to be, because the submaximal blocks that we did earlier showed a lot of like potential. It's just gotten to the point now where it's just kind of like we are acknowledging in real time exactly like what's actually happening, and that's made it become more of a realistic outcome, and therefore psychologically you'd probably feel way better about it, because no one's at fault. It's just how it is. Another example is I had another athlete who had a bit of a break before going away on a holiday and lost a lot of weight. Sam Bowl.
Having a break before going on.
Literally like,
after,
lost weight, like well under 93 kilo class now, and then came back straight into a peak. So it's just a recipe of like, not disaster, but like recipe of like just not having anything to work with, because there's no base of support to hold up the workload that you're trying to do to get ready for a competition. So again, it's not necessarily the programming, or the fact that, it's the coaching, so to speak, because sometimes you feel like it is as a coach, like that you've done something wrong, or why is the athlete not getting stronger? But really it's about just communicating, understanding, and being reflective upon like the real circumstances to why the thing is happening the way it is. Because it's easy to get lost and forget about all things that really did work before the person took a break or went away overseas. So yeah, I think that's super important to just have that lens as an athlete, knowing exactly what's happening in real time as to why things aren't happening when you do go through a push block or you don't fulfill those submaximal periods of training. But in saying that, like, would you boys agree that when it comes to pushing blocks, usually, so to speak, it is periodized over like 12 weeks if you do 3-4 week blocks where you simply look at like 3s into 2s into 1s. Yeah. Submaximal work, 3s into 2s into 1s. Submaximal work. That tends to be the trend, right?
Yeah. And it's like, it's a, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Type of scenario, you know, it doesn't
it works,
have to be,
just keep running it.
Doesn't have to be anything special, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the special or like the novelty can happen outside of that very basic structure.
Yep. And the fucking thing that really gets my gears going is the body doesn't know the difference between exercises or rep ranges or sets. It only knows tension and stimulus. So for example, like, you can definitely improve your bench arch if you arch your accessories more often because you've created a more stimulus and tension through that position, right? But it doesn't know that you're doing a flat dumbbell bench or a machine chest press or dips or anything that can create a similarity between the specific competition bench press and the accessory. It only knows the lengthening tension relationship of the exercise you're doing, how hard it has to work, and what stimulations it's creating for your body to adapt.
Yep.
So when it comes down to the novelty or selecting the secret exercise or the secret rep range that may work, it doesn't necessarily come down to like exactly those like specific finer details. It's just more generalized. It's are you getting tension? Are you feeling things work the way you should feel when you do a certain exercise? Your position's consistent. And at the end of the day, like, are you just training fucking really hard?
Yeah,
like,
literally. It's like a hot take. Like, dumbbell bench didn't blow up your bench. It's just because you enjoyed it and pushed it hard.
100%. Literally. Yeah. And I've come to this realization half the time where like an athlete comes to me and they say, I'm trying to think of an example. I really like high rep deadlifts on my secondary day. Like, that blows up my deadlift. I know it does. And even though I think in my mind, like, yeah, maybe, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not convinced, but sure, let's run it. Like, if you believe in it, then we're going to fucking do it.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
I have an athlete, Anthony from Melbourne. He literally PR'd his deadlift last week because he said that he wanted to.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's sick.
We had this conversation like the other day. It was mainly mentality about how you approach or perceive certain lifts. And for the longest time, I was just like, fuck, I just hate deadlifting. Like, I just feel like I'm wrestling the bar all the time. They don't feel nice. They're not my best lift. They're probably my worst lift. Like, you know, all of this. And then it was like one day I woke up and I was just like, no, you know what? I'm going to enjoy deadlifting. I'm going to have fun with it. And I'm going to try really hard. And then all of a sudden, like, it's like, I've been miles since that point.
Yeah. You know? I feel like if you're mentally bought into something, then you can do anything.
100%.
Like, you know, if you...
Yeah, I could take like... Well, it's really nice to be injured because it realizes that the moments when you do have to push, what's the saying that you say? Pushing is a privilege or something?
Pushing is a privilege.
So like when you do have that privilege of being able to push your training, you tend to look past like, you know, the not the connection, but like the bias around what works for you as an athlete, because you will just try no matter what the coach prescribes you, because you know that like it's not very often you do get to have these opportunities to train hard and push yourself and actually get the most out of your training. So when I had 250 for 3 on Monday, I came in like usually like back in the day a little bit anxious, like fucking a big weight, like fucking I haven't touched this weight in a while now, but I just knew that like I was just going to try really hard, treat it the exact same as my lighter loads, and long behold, it fucking moved really well. And it's taken me like nearly 10 years to get to this point where it's not to be scared or uncomfortable about pushing myself in my own training and enjoying pushing, like feeling that feeling, you know what I mean?
So at the end of the day, the only thing, sorry to cut you off.
All right.
The only thing you really can control is how hard you're pushing.
It's all about effort.
Like once you're like, you've walked out the bar and you've got it on your back, all you can really do is just push as hard as you can.
Exactly. And if you fucking if you fail, like it's not the end of the world because no one's gonna die, no one's gonna get hurt.
It'll come next time.
Everything has been way easier since Ned Brockman ran his fucking.
Yeah, you like that. Yeah, bro. Everything's easy since I ran 1,000 miles. It's insane, bro. Nothing's hard.
Actually, nothing's hard.
Yeah, nothing's hard.
Like, fuck me. Like, that poor cunt, like, just fucking killed himself, literally, bro. But, like, and even though he didn't break I think he was trying to break the world record, but he missed out on it by, like, 2 days or something.
I don't know. He hit another record, like, after, because he just kept going.
Yeah. But he still ran the distance that he set out for. My main point is, it's kind of like seeing, I get a lot of kick out of, like, other people, like, doing things like that I see, like, like they literally see that nothing bad is going to happen. Yeah, you may hear doctors say, like, you're fucking your knees, like your IT band syndrome's getting worse, or like your feet are fucked, you got tinea or something, I don't know. Fucking, like, seeing him look past all those health risks and just focusing on, like, the task at hand and the objective, like, I personally find so motivating seeing someone else do that.
Absolutely.
And that's why in this gym, like, it's so nice to see so many people training as hard as they do, no matter if it's the submaximal block, the push block, or anything in relation. Like, the bottom line is that we all know how to train hard, and that's what really sets us all up for success together.
100%.
That's it.
And having that community and environment with everyone pushing each other is so good.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, it comes back to it, like we're talking, I just referenced dumbbell bench blowing up your bench. Like, you know, I remember, like, a couple blocks ago pushing them so hard because I was like, I want to press the 50s because he pressed the 50s. I need to press the 50s because he did it. Yeah. And I'm like, I need to like press more than him. Like, but in a good way, those, like, not battles. In a negative way. Like, in a like poking your mate, going, I've got you. Like,
my favorite mate to poke in the gym is Sam Forsberg. I literally say to him, I said to him on Monday, if because like we can talk to each other like this, I go, if I squat more than you, you're fucking shit.
Yeah.
The guy squats like 35, 50 kilos more than me, you know what I mean? Or like, I'm going to pull 360 before you. And he said, no, you're fucking not, you little rat.
Yeah.
So like having those battles where, like, you're talking shit and a bit of back and forth, but like at the end of the day, you are being realistic, and you are like just trying to poke each other to be like, come on, I want to see you fucking train harder. I'm trying to train harder than you because you're ahead of me.
Yeah, and I think on that note you made before about, you know, people like having that idea that certain rep ranges are what creates stimulus for their deadlift to pop off or something along those lines. When it comes back to, you know, setting up pushing or, you know, pulling back type of blocks, I think that we spoke about it on here before, like, you know, people just lock in way harder for peaks normally.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like they're going to think that threes make their, like, you know, squat go crazy, but it's just because you tried really hard at your threes when you were peaking. So it's like when you're in the off season or when you're doing less intensity blocks, still push your reps hard. Still like really have hard. A dig, you know, and that's going to not only create a much better outcome next time you hop on the platform, but it's going to make your training probably way more enjoyable as well, because
probably going to build your confidence too.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like just like, you know, you're kind of just going through the ebbs and flows of like not pushing hard during these low intensity blocks. Yeah. Like, and you still got to hit them.
We would like to push and periodize the program so you're doing less volume, more intensity, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you just cannot do that because circumstances don't work out. Like if you take the piss in your submaximal block and you look like things look hard because you're taking dramatic jumps because you are treating it like a pushing block and you're not letting the base just accumulate and the threshold of fitness improve. Like that can be a critical error where like you haven't earned the right to push just yet.
Yeah.
You still need to push those like lower intensities to show me that you can do more. Like I have Jacob doing, I think, a last warm-up set of 6 into a top set of 4. And the guy is jumping nearly as much as he jumps during like peaks and pushing blocks. And like I need to tell him, or I've told him, you need to just slow down a bit because things are going to get very hard very quickly because you're not treating the training like a peak, for one, and 2, your lifestyle isn't complementing the training outcomes because I know you're getting fucking sunburnt. I know you're probably going out, staying up late. Black Ops 6 just came out. Yep. You're back at work, working full time. Like there's a lot of things that can like add up to you know, the reason as to why you cannot simply jump that high, because not only the volume's higher, but the circumstances around it don't complement it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I had to fucking sit up. My legs are so sweaty. Are you boys hot?
Got the dogs out. Yeah,
I'm not
fucking
too
sweating,
bad
bro.
actually.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be stuck to these fucking leather seats, man.
It's kind of like,
My tattoo's gonna peel off.
yeah,
nah.
do it. Yeah, they're gonna fucking, you know. Well, lucky the chairs are black. Yeah, I'm
blend
tossing
in.
up. Do I do the deadlift platforms and the weightlifting platform first, or do I get aircon in here? Because they're both about $5,000.
Aircon.
Yeah,
Aircon. We're not gonna be able to film pods like this, bro.
You reckon?
We're gonna die.
We're gonna
halfway.
be unless we're doing lids off pods.
I don't mind that. Yeah, we need to get Jared's lid off. Jared, get your lid off now.
Get your lid off, mate. That's it. I
That's
want to see the
the-
10.
Yeah, let's see the 10 on your guts.
Yeah, that's
Do
it.
it.
eh?
The Hunt episode 50.
Episode 50.
I'll bring it 50th special.
No, he's,
I'll bring it off.
he's actually he's shirtless right now.
The 50th special is Jared.
off.
fucking-
He's shirtless right now. He's just got a tan line.
The 50th episode, Jared's going to give us a fucking strip off, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a fucking... all right, so what we're going to do in episode 50, I'll write a quiz.
Yeah.
Right? A powerlifting quiz. Okay? And this is what we did on...
I don't like where this
This
is
is what we did
going,
on Fourth Down Under. I'll give you these little whiteboards,
Yeah.
and you just write your answers on it, and we'll do a 3, 2, 1 turn.
I like this.
Okay.
This is good.
But
No, wait.
if you get your answers wrong, you start fucking stripping down.
Yeah, exactly. There it is.
There it
it
is.
is. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I knew it was going there the whole time.
That's fucking good.
Fuck's sake.
Well, like one piece at a time, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Jared getting his kid off, highest viewed episode of the
Oh,
Hunt.
100%. 100%.
The Bondi stands out for that one.
No, we'll try and make it as like interactive as possible. I think like it'd
Yeah.
be good to kind of like have some overlays of videos of like shit happening, being like, as a coach, Aiden, seeing this, what do you think I see first? Like fucking little shit like that, because you guys know me well enough by
Isn't
now.
that just Aiden's annoyances?
Yeah, pretty much. Just the price of the media company. Fucking hell. All right, we'll be back in a second for you, probably fucking 15 minutes, because Jared hasn't thought of one. For overrated, underrated, properly rated, we'll see you soon. Shut up, John. All right, Jared, yours sounds shit, so you can go first.
Overrated, underrated, properly rated, giving Jared shit on the pod. Underrated.
Bro, what did I do, eh?
Bro's,
I'm just copping it this episode.
bro's getting roasted in and out of the sun today.
Literally. Let's
All
go,
right.
mate.
Underrated, overrated, properly rated. Using liquid chalk and normal chalk for your deadlifts.
Oh, fucking. 3,
3,
2, 1.
2, 1.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Really? You think overrated?
No, I said underrated.
I think you
I said
you said overrated.
overrated.
What?
Yeah.
Just hold on to the cunt.
Benny's not lifting heavy enough yet.
Nah, cat, bro. Nah.
Why do you think you said overrated. Why do you think overrated?
Mate, if your hook grip, yeah, I get it, maybe, kinda, but I don't know. I've never gotten anything out of using liquid chalk personally. But you are right. Like I'm not in the range where I'm looking for low hanging fruit to train grip or hold on to bars. At the end of the day, like I don't know. I feel like people who have grip issues rely on liquid chalk and then chalking over the top of it, and then end up still dropping the fucking bar. So just do something about it.
Yeah,
do something about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't just rely on liquid chalk.
I like to say I don't have any grip issues anymore, but I don't. I've never dropped.
No, I'm laughing about myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But the thing is that I personally notice a difference when I don't use liquid chalk and then dry chalk over the top. Like I obviously being injured, I didn't use liquid chalk for like 3-4 months, and when I was starting to get back to like 220 range, I could feel that like, oh, fuck, it's a bit slippery. Like,
Yeah.
I noticed it too.
fucking
yeah.
annoying. So yeah, I think once you get to 220, you might jump in on a GPC fucking alpha liquid chalk.
I've
package
still
of this,
got,
mate.
I still have like a half
A full
bottle
bottle.
of fucking beast liquid chalk in my
Dude,
bag because I just don't
fucking
use it,
hell.
mate. Yeah,
Fucking hell. With that other half bottle of baby oil.
baby oil. That's it. Yeah, I'll put that on your bars before you lift.
Can't. That'd be why.
Yeah.
All right. You would agree underrated?
Yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Helps.
Yep.
All right. Good topic, Jared. Next.
Fuck off.
All right. My one. Yours is funny, yeah?
Oh no, not really.
Episode
Yeah.
43,
Mine's
Jared gets fucking
Well,
grilled.
mine will create more discussion, I think, if you don't think it's
Alright,
funny.
well, I'll do mine though.
All right, let's go.
All right. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. Having a favorite rack, platform, or bench.
Can't. You literally took mine.
No way.
100%.
Really?
100%. You're a
What a kappa, bro. That's insane.
Bro, I've been
man.
thinking of that since Monday
That's
because when you
insane.
first said to me, or us, can I please have the middle rack in the gym? And I was just like, this guy.
Bro.
Fuck.
All
I
right.
can't believe you fucking thought of that. Wow.
3, 2, 1.
Overrated.
Underrated.
What'd you say?
I said properly rated.
Properly rated.
Dude, so we got a properly rated, an underrated, and an overrated.
Okay, well,
Yeah, that's
yours
good.
is self-explanatory. Like you just agree with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're a bit more on the end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I agree with it, but I think it's also like important to not have like some full-on crazy attachment to
Yeah.
it. Like,
Like sexual attention to it.
yeah. I mean,
Helicobar.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
but not
if-
just rack, bar, like, well, that's the only two really, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
think like from my perspective, like the reason I say underrated is just because when I'm training and I just get into like a repeatable kind of zone where I just am in the same flow state, like when I'm lifting and stuff like that, I do the same kind of pacing around the same area and shit. It just becomes very natural and things are just super repeatable for me in training then. When I'm like, you know, setting a focal point or setting or whatever, like, you know, it's fine. It's not like I'm non-adaptable. Like I can move around, like, you know what I mean? I normally deadlift on a certain platform. And then last week I ended up having one of the best pulls of my life. And I had to end up like going to a different one. Like you just got to roll with the punches. But
Yeah.
I do like, you know, if I have an area that I like lifting in, being available, then yeah, I'll take it.
I used to be a one rack, one bar merchant, but I decided after the experiences of not being able to control that repetitiveness of my routine, getting ready for a top set or a lift in a competition where like it kind of undid me, I decided that there's no place for it for me anymore. I can't let it, my execution be controlled by that environmental state any longer. So I personally just made the vouch that like I'll fucking squat out of anything, I'll bench out of anything, I'll deadlift on any platform, it doesn't matter. As for bars, like it's a bit more scientific than being attracted to one bar. Like we know a rogue bar has more knurling than an Alico bar, you know what I mean? So like I would favor the rogue bar because it makes it easier. You know what I mean? It means I can push absolute load more. I would also say like, you know, I understand that there's more things going on in this gym that you're looking into from a squat standpoint because there's fucking people, there's racks, there's TVs, there's a window, there's roads, cars, dogs, fucking everything, right? So, and each different angle has a new thing. So I can see how it can be overstimulating for, you know, trying to find that focal point. But so is, you know, a referee staring into your soul and like hundreds of people watching you, cheering you. Like there was a funny thing that happened to me once. And this is when I made the change. You love the story, eh?
I love the story.
I was at the fucking Sydney Showground. Sydney Fitness Expo.
The Easter show.
In 2018.
Yeah, the Easter show.
I don't know why I started thinking about the Easter show. I really want to go next year. So we're at the Sydney Fitness Expo and I'm competing at the Pacific Championships. Second time ever competing internationally. And I remember walking up onto the platform and it's like a lifted stage. On like a media deck. And I'm setting for my squat. I'm under the bar, wriggling up, unrack it, walk back. I did this thing where I'd look down at my feet, like where I'd step. And then when I went to look up, all I saw was the pole dancing store across the fucking road, like over the crowd. In the next store, you can just see these chicks just going for it.
Yeah, this bloke can see it from 200 meters away.
Literally.
Hawkeye. Fucking
The thing is, I've looked up and I've gone, holy fucking dooly. Try and make that your focal point, Aiden.
Yeah.
And then I've just, I obviously lifted.
Yeah, that's
Did you get a lift?
you got it up.
That was my first ever comp. That was my first ever comp at 83. So
Yeah,
like,
right.
I got the lift. I had a massive improvement on total. Like when that happened, it threw me off so much in the sense of like, I fucking can't look at that again when I go. I feel like I'm making a crime. You know what I mean? But like I have to. Like I've got no choice.
Yeah.
So putting myself in that environment where I had to do something uncomfortable. You know, because I'm trying to focus on my performance, not trying to, you know, watch pole dancing for leisure. But
Bro's got bands in his soft suit.
literally, So yeah, I think it's overrated. Just be an adaptable athlete, especially when it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, So
You see
I
that
agree.
side.
I agree with that side. Absolutely. I just feel like it's dependent on the type of person you are and how obsessive you get over it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck.
Your arousal like chamber inside you should be molded and adaptable like on many different levels.
Yeah.
Like I've traveled enough this year to have to try and train in certain places, circumstances without power bars, with power bars, power racks, whatever it may be, to know that like it's not the end of the world if I just can't have the perfect setup. And I think having the perfect setup here in so many different ways for so many people, I think is a really nice thing to have.
Yeah.
And I think you can have those environmental controllables like intact. So like you can have the middle rack because it's your fucking gym. You know what I mean? Like and you can do whatever you fucking want.
Yeah.
Some other people don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, before we all chronically dehydrate, we're going to wrap it up there. Anything to say before we go?
No, that's all.
No.
All right. We'll see you next week for episode 44. Hopefully, Jared is one shade darker, and we'll see you then.
See ya.
See ya. Bro, Jared was fucking hating that, eh?